Hello guys, this is UniversalGiant, and welcome back to Let's Play Pokémon SoulSilver. Last time, we took down Karen, the final member of the Elite Four, and today, only one trainer remains in our way. Now before we go in there, I do want to go over my item arrangement. I gave Lupus the black glasses simply because I believe every member of the Champions team resists Fire Blast, so I didn't bother restoring the PP for it, and if I have to bring him in at all, it'd probably be to use Dark Pulse. I gave Crunch the Never Melt Ice, for you'll see why, and I gave Duster the Choice Scarf. I do not know for sure whether or not he would be able to outspeed the things I want to hit with Ice Beam without it, so I gave it to him anyway. Now, the fight that I've been dreading, well, I want to say since I started the LP, but I enjoy this fight too much to actually dread it. You can see statues of Vertinius in here. I really like the detail in this room, too, with the moving pendulums and everything. And the gold-plated walls, and the tiles on the floor, and the red carpet. It's just so much to take in at once. You really feel like you're going to face down the biggest challenge you have so far. And the champion turns out to be the one who's been helping us take down Team Rocket all this time. Lance. And I'm just gonna say right now, I'll be quiet for the first couple of seconds of the fight just because the intro is too awesome for me to talk over. He opens this fight with a level 46 Gyarados, 4 times weak to electricity, so I really hope you have something that's packing an electric-type move. If we're lucky, Discharge will OHKO. If not, he'd just waste a full restore on it and get off a waterfall. But Gyarados should be the least of your worries. Now he's going to send in a Charizard, and I'm honestly not too sure how I want to deal with this thing. Because I want to save Crunch for later if I can, but I suppose I'll bring him in now. Because, as we know, Lance specializes in Dragon-type, only weak to Dragon and Ice, and since Crunch is one of only 2 members of my team that has an Ice move, I'd like to save him for one of the Dragonites. But one of the Dragonites has a move that he is weak to, and that Air Slash did a lot more damage than I was hoping that it would do. I don't think... There's no way Waterfall's going to OHKO. It is a 2-hit KO. It's not going to bring him down to the range where he would heal it. I think I'll take a chance. If he switches into something that resists it, so much the better. I believe this is going to be the Dragonite that knows Thunder. He has 3 Dragonites. 2 are level 49, 1 is level 50. The level 49s can either have Thunder or Blizzard. The third one has Fire Blast. I want to predict the Thunder, so I'll go into Krako. But he is only really here for walling this thing, which he does fairly well. Dragon Rush is a really powerful Dragon-type move. And maybe we can get some Power Fusion going on here, like he's probably going to try doing with us. I want to say Dragon Rush is like 100 base power or something, but it misses fairly often. I think its accuracy is 75%. So it's a bit of give and take there. It does miss fairly often, which is nice, but so does Supersonic. Not nearly as often as Dragon Rush. But yeah, I'd like to screw this thing over in as many ways as possible, and you've been just as likely to get paralyzed as I am, and you haven't been. Are we just gonna go through pointless move after pointless move like this for who knows how long? I would have at least liked to get one of those off, but you know what? Let's drag this battle out for as long as possible, because why not? There's no reason for us to do this quickly. You're not going anywhere, I'm not going anywhere, the music is awesome. Why not just keep going with this? Yeah, but there's Thunder in action. One of the reasons I don't like using it is simply because of its 70% accuracy, unless it's in the rain when it's 100% accurate. And I'm willing to... Yeah, great. So as you can see, I play these fights a little bit too conservatively for my liking because, quite honestly, it's too much of a pain to deal with otherwise. You'd say, why not just let Krako faint and bring in somebody strong enough? Because I need Krako to wall these things. I'm not going to risk losing him at this point. So finally we're going to have some Power Fusion going. And since this thing is dual Dragon Flying type, it doesn't resist Electric type moves, so I'll just be going for Discharges instead of... what was the other one that I could have used? The Steel type move that I was saying is really awesome and I haven't shown it off that much. Flash Cannon! Except, although they're both just as powerful, Krako's holding the Magnet, which powers up Electric type moves, so Discharge is going to be more. And hopefully that'll be enough to knock it out. I don't want to have to deal with him full restoring it on this turn. You know what? Let's do it. Behold the might that is the Great Duster! Well, that was mildly disappointing. It did outspeed it with the Choice Scarf, but unfortunately it's crippled because it's paralyzed now. Great, it didn't even do half to the Dragonite. And this isn't even a multi-scale Dragonite, because multi-scale wasn't out at this point. This is not gonna be fun. I was really hoping, and from the bottom of my heart hoping, that I could somehow give Duster an edge to the point where he could completely wipe the floor with the strongest trainer in the region. And it just didn't work out for me, did it? I'm actually surprised that hasn't crit me yet. Oh, this fight. So much pain this fight has caused me. Only if you've played this game before will you realize why I'm being so gosh darn conservative. And why I said I wanted to level up to 42 instead of coming in here at 40. Because if I came in here at 40, you can imagine just how much more difficult it would be. But let's get a little bit more Power Fusion going on. Hyper Beam! I also resist that, by the way. That's not going to be doing too much to me. Maybe I stalled it out of Dragon Rushes, that could be it. But I don't believe it could hit itself in Confusion on the turn where it has to recharge. And I'm starting to run out of discharges. I might have to switch over to Flash Cannon at some point. But I'm afraid if I switched over to it, it wouldn't knock it out. Okay, one Dragonite down! 2 more to go, plus his other Pokemon. And I still need Krako to wall one of those 3. Actually 4, he switched out Charizard. My bad, I forget things! So we're in the same position we were before. I sincerely hope Crunch can take another Air Slash, which also has a high chance to crit. Or flinch. Sorry, flinch. I meant to say flinch. Well, I can't lose Crunch at this point. Duster is crippled. I do believe Klaus will outspeed. And I don't see Klaus being useful for anything else. Unfortunately, I believe Charizard has Shadow Claw, although I did not expect him to predict that. Hopefully I can outspeed it, and hopefully Psybeam will be enough to kill it with the choice specs. Which it is, and that's good. Now, if I know Lance, he's going to send in his Aerodactyl because that thing has Crunch. So we're going to have to be a little creative here. I'm not sure how creative. Maybe HCB can be useful for this fight. We'll see. I'm afraid that this thing will have a flying move, although I'm not sure if it does or not. We will find out in 5 seconds. This thing is ridiculously fast. I guess I'll go with close combat. It does no aerial ace. Bye, HCB! That was a waste. Why would it doesn't even have aerial ace in the first place? Just for flying type coverage? Who would put that on that thing? Well, the main reason I have Krako is to wall this particular thing, because it does not yet know Earthquake. So let's heal Krako up again, because we haven't done that enough in this fight. But I believe he resists all of Aerodactyl's moves. The unfortunate thing is, even if we weren't paralyzed, it would be outspeeding us, and what he likes to do is Rock Slide, which flinches a lot. More often than I would like it to. I don't even know how you force a magnet to flinch, but he's gonna do that a lot until I can hit him, and I'm not even sure if a magnet boosted discharge will be enough to knock it out. I don't remember that thing having really high special defense, but it does have a couple of levels on us. And it's paralyzed, although it's not going to make much of a difference because we're slow as crap. And tell you what, as long as... Is he on a full restores yet? I'm not sure if he is. Well, full restore is not going to do too much for us anyway, because I know I've been doubting Krako's speed this entire LP, but I'm pretty sure a paralyzed Aerodactyl will still outspeed us. What I do like, though, is that we're forcing him to use all of his full restores now, as opposed to later, where he would have to use them for his Dragonites, which are going to be a pain to take down, and I'm almost out of discharge. So do I want to save this last discharge for the Dragonite? I'd prefer not to. I think we got rid of the one that knows Thunder, so we could potentially bring in Crunch on one of them. And I'd like to say Flash Cannon will be enough to take it out from this point if we do not flinch. Of course you do. I still think we could revenge kill this thing with anything else on our team that isn't paralyzed, so I'm not too worried about it if we were paralyzed on that turn. So now we've got 2 Dragonites. And I'm not sure which one he's going to send in. Ideally, the smart thing to do would be to fodder somebody to find out which one it is. But I'm not too big of a fan of that, so tell you what, we'll switch into... Crunch is almost dead. Who are we going to get the least use out of here? The remaining ones know Blizzard and Fire Blast. Duster is completely crippled. Klaus has very little HP. Who do I want to send in? I guess I'll go with Lupus. I'd really like to use Crunch against one of these guys because he resists both of the moves that I'm most threatened by. But it's a level 51 that knows Fire Blast, so at least we resist that. I guess we'll go for Dark Pulse. This thing also has Safeguard, which prevents its team from being hit with any kind of status infliction for, I want to say, 5 turns. But it also has a very powerful Dragon-type move in Outrage! So I suppose I'll send Krako in to wall it, although I do not believe he will be able to survive an Outrage despite the fact that he resists it. So I will take this time to heal up for Alligator! If he is able to survive, then I'll probably heal Duster's paralysis. Hooray! All of those vitamins I gave to increase his defense served a purpose! Now, Outraged can last either 2 or 3 turns, after which the Pokemon becomes confused. It's really nice that we survived on 2 HP, because it got the 3-turn Outrage, which means somebody would have had to take that 3rd Outrage hit. And it would be really nice if I could bring in Duster, outspeed with an Ice Beam, and have the Dragonite hit itself in confusion to knock itself out. The most powerful Pokemon in the region taken down by the ferret that everybody doubted. Until we see it has a citrus berry and it completely ruins the moment. Thanks, Lance. I'm clutching my hands, praying that Duster survives. No. Oh well, so much for that strategy. I do not believe one Ice Fang is going to be enough to knock out the Dragonite, and I didn't believe that Confusion could take effect in the middle of an outrage. That's actually good information to know. 2 Dragonites down, I'm pretty sure that crit mattered. Even though it was boosted by the Nevermelt Ice. He's got 1 Dragonite left, this thing has Blizzard, which we are able to wall with Crunch. But I'd also like to get as much mileage out of Klaus as possible. I guess we'll save him as a last resort. I'd like to get through this fight without having to use a revive of any kind. So let's see how much an Ice Fang does! We're already slower than this thing, I don't mind being paralyzed. I don't want to waste a turn healing it. If this is a 2-hit KO, I think we're good. If it's not, we're gonna have to get creative. I guess that crit actually didn't matter. Maybe I underestimate Crunch's strength. Now, as long as we don't get paralyzed or flinch, and Ice Fang has to— Holy crap, we did it! I don't believe I did that on the first try, despite the fact that I had to use something like a dozen Moo Moo Milks. I don't care! We got through it! You can see why, even though we got through the Elite Four with just about no trouble, why I was so afraid of this one fight. Good lord, Lance. Oh, hey, look, somebody actually wants us to interview! Yay! I feel so special and happy. We haven't seen Professor Oak in a while either, but you remember Oak and Mary from their radio show? They want to do an interview with us, and Oak wants to congratulate us and everything. But Lance doesn't like being in the spotlight for some reason, so he just drags us away. Oh, I love that touch. And the music you're hearing right now is the music whenever you meet eyes with a female trainer, I believe. Funny how they worked that into this. But of course, at the end of every Pokémon adventure, when you go through the Pokémon League and defeat the champion, you get to go in the back room, where all of the Pokémon League champions are preserved for all time through cryogenics. I mean, they register whatever your Pokemon were and your name and when you beat them and stuff. Yeah. And we remember who it was that got us this far. Krako the Magneton. Klaus the Espeon. Lupus the Houndoom. Crunch the Feraligatr. HC Beetle the Heracross. And last but certainly not least, the lovable Duster, the Ferret. I really wish he was able to do a little bit more than he did, but that's who we are, that's what we got, and we're champion of the Johto region. How about that? Don't mind the game time. About 10 hours of that was just me, you know, doing whatever I felt like doing, involving Game Corner shenanigans and maybe a little bit of training, but most of that was just me dinking around. And since we're going to have to go through the credits several times in this game, I figure instead of reflecting on my experience of the game or the LP to this point, that I'd take time to explain what to expect in the next couple of weeks in terms of videos from me, considering I did mention I wanted to take a break from this game because I know it's been taking up a fairly long amount of time, much longer than most of the other LPs I've been doing, even if the playlist length isn't as long. I've been on this game for about 6 or 7 months to this point, and I can see why people would be getting a little bit tired of it. And I'm sure the fact that I'm putting up the Black and White 2 videos isn't helping much either in terms of saturating you with Pokémon. So there are a couple of other games I'm considering doing in the interim. Donkey Kong Land 3 is probably one of them that's going to happen, although I'm considering a couple of others to do as well, simply to break the monotony. Although I haven't tested whether or not I'd be able to record them on the Hop-Hog, we'll see. But those other games I'm thinking of would be similar in style to Playing with Maui's gameplay videos, where instead of doing it in an LP style, it would just be me playing a particular game mode that I enjoy playing that won't take more than an hour or so, and maybe I'd split it into a couple of parts, or maybe I'd just keep it as a long video. It's up to you guys if something like that would only be an hour long or something, whether or not you'd want to see that in one video or broken up into a couple of parts. I'll decide when I actually get around to recording them if I have time to. But at least expect Donkey Kong Land 3 to be taking place in the interim before we take on the second half of SoulSilver. I will say when I finally get to the second half of the game, I'll probably be cutting out more battles and such that I haven't been up to this point, considering I figure the battles are the biggest reason why you play a Pokemon game in the first place. But after 60 episodes or so, I can see why it gets old, so chances are I'd be cutting out any battles that didn't introduce something new that we haven't already seen before. But again, we'll cross that bridge when we come to it. When we finally get back into this game, there are going to be so many things to show off. So many stuff that you have access to after you get the National Dex, because you have access to all the Pokemon that you couldn't see in the original Gold and Silver. Which I'm very much looking forward to, since most of them I didn't have a chance to see, since I kinda put down Pokemon and the franchise after Gold and Silver anyway. So that's gonna be a hell of an adventure. But it's gonna be an adventure that we'll tackle a couple of weeks from now. This is UniversalGiant, and thank you for watching the first half of Let's Play Pokemon SoulSilver. I'll see you in the next part, when we head on our way to Kanto. Take care.